What, you have a podcast?
Really?
Because we don't have a country
It's
anymore.
just time for a theocratic monarchy. King Trump, for life. Let's go.
I'm going to be a dictator. I said that.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Hello, friends and enemies, and welcome to another episode of Recovery from Politics Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Frame, and today is Thursday, July 4th, 2024, special 2024 episode. Needed to take the day off yesterday because the doom scrolling just really messed with my whole day. Tuesday, after I recorded the show, I posted it. You go online, and it's still the same shit. I couldn't get any kind of joy from anything. I didn't want to play any video games. I didn't want to watch a movie. I just, nothing was good. There was no good news. It was just more of the bad. Unfortunately, I kind of have more of that today. I have some good news, depending on your point of view. So, a lot of polls have come out in the last few days. Biden released some internal polls that he is touting as, this is great news, guys, because turns out the debate didn't affect his numbers at all. There was no dip. Everybody was like, oh my God, he's going to plunge 20 points. This is the end. Well, turns out it didn't change anything. The debate didn't matter. He's still losing in all the swing states, some by double digits, especially Nevada. But, he didn't lose anything. It's the same. So the debates don't matter, guys. I don't need to drop out. It's the same. And I'm like, okay, currently the car is on the tracks and the tracks are not deviating. You are heading directly to losing all the swing states here in November. There could be things that change. A lot of people are pointing out you have a lot of time between now and the end of the world. In particular, you have 123 days until Election Day this year. So you have 123 days, that's 4 months, to change the narrative of you being a really old bastard who kind of has senior moments a little more often than we would like. That's fantastic. What have you done in the last week to change that? Nothing. That's the thing that's kind of annoying everyone. The rallies don't cut it because the rallies aren't watched. And that was it. They only did the one rally. So it was Thursday night, shit debate performance. Friday morning, great rally. Great by his standards, of course. He's 81. Gotta consider that. But great rally by his performance. It definitely was night and day versus the debate performance and the rally and everything else. But then nothing. Radio silence. From him anyway. His campaign keeps putting out these pressers saying, oh no, he's great. He's really feisty. Apparently there was a phone call with donors and then another phone call with all the Democratic governors. We're all on a conference call with the president and he's shouting at him like, I'm in this to win it. And everything's great. And all the governors went out and were like, oh my God, he sounds great. This is amazing. Okay. You didn't see him. You were on a conference call with him. And you're telling us that he sounds great over the phone, but we can't hear it. We can't see him. He didn't go give a fiery speech on the Rose Garden or anywhere for that matter. Go into the press conference room, just like kick your press secretary to the side for a second, take it over for a few minutes. Be like, I see the polls, I see the media, you guys are all crazy, I'm in it to win it, I'm here, Joe Biden, 2024, woo! And then answer some questions, some impromptu questions from the press that's already gathered there in your White House every single day of the year. He has not done that. He hasn't done anything. No more rallies, no more anything. Apparently their big turnaround is tomorrow night there's going to be an interview. Great, a one-on-one interview. He should do that. It is not live. It is going to be taped. And I guarantee you, because it's going to be taped, that means that the campaign has final say on what gets edited and what doesn't. The only way we're going to see any mistakes is if the media company involved, which I doubt they would do because they're not Fox, but the media company involved would have to leak the unedited version. And I don't think that's going to happen unless the unedited version shows actually he's great, that there were no gaffes, there were no mistakes, and then they'll leak it. But it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? This is very easy. Like, this is the problem. They're isolating him They're keeping him away from the microphone. They're keeping him away from the people. They're keeping him away from journalists who ask impromptu questions that have nothing to do with anything. They're also keeping him on a friendly press. Like, honestly, this week should have been him every night, prime time, on a different cable news channel. Go on MSNBC. Have Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes throw some softballs at you. Sure, fine. Go back onto CNN. Let them all, Jake Tapper and them, just go to town asking you all kinds of questions. And all of this has to be live, by the way. No edited, no 10-second delay, nothing. All of it, 100% live. No restrictions on what questions can be asked, no matter how personal or national security. Like, sure, let him dodge if he wants, but any question, whatever, 1 hour, every night, tonight, go for it. And then go on Fox News. Fuck it. Go on Newsmax. Go on OAN. Go on all these. Give them 1 hour primetime Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, every night this week should have been the president just sucking up all the oxygen in the room. You know? So that way, the only thing we have to talk about are his interviews, which hopefully he's crushing. And honestly, if he goes a full week, if he goes 7 straight days of bad press, because every time he gets in front of a camera, late at night, prime time, outside of his little 10 to 4 window, and he ends up suck, that would increase pressure on him and even his family, and be like, look, you can survive one bad debate performance. That's fine. You just had 7 straight days of suck. You can't do this. This is the narrative now, right? You do realize the energy it would take to overcome this is something you just cannot do. So I understand them why they wouldn't want to do that. They're like, yeah, but if he has a bad night, and I'm not talking about flubbing questions. Okay, I'm not talking about, oh yeah, he meant China, but he said Taiwan, or something stupid like that. Like, Trump does that. Who gives a fuck? No, we're talking about the energy. We're talking about the focus. You can look into his eyes and tell that there is a person there who is thinking critically about what is going on, and you can be like, yeah, that guy. Yeah, okay, he's there. He gets it. He understands what's happening in front of him. Not the debate last Thursday. Okay? We need him there. Rallies don't cut it. He's got a teleprompter to keep him on pace. Taped interviews don't cut it. Right? There's no pressure. There's no surprise. I guarantee you, if it's a taped interview, there were a lot of preconditions going into that thing. Like, you can only ask him about this. You can only ask him about that. Do not ask him about this. He's going to refuse that. And because I think it's ABC or CBS, I forget which, but whichever one it is that has George Stephanopoulos, like, they're going to sit there and be like, well, we don't want to lose our access. I mean, what if this motherfucker wins? Then we have 4 years of being on the outs because we went against the script. So this whole thing is bullshit, and it really pisses me off because it's so easy to see, right? Like, everyone's mad right now at the Bulwark people, you know, the never Trump conservatives that, like, as soon as the party was nominated and they saw the Republican Party coalesce around Trump rather than try and, like, prove that he's an exception, not the rule. They bailed. They created their own thing. They went to the Bulwark. The Bulwark's very successful. I have issues with the Bulwark, but definitely not when it comes to who they want to see win president. They are all in on defeating Trump and Trumpism at all costs. So they are an ally. But all of them, to a T, especially, I believe, Tim Miller's getting the brunt of it because he is their daily podcast guy. So he's there just constantly getting into it. Plus, he likes to engage the trolls, so I think that helps. But you also got Sarah Longwell there, and Sarah Longwell is the focus group person. She's like, look, if the focus group was telling me, no, I don't care about the debate performance, Biden's my guy, good to go, she would report that. And she'd be like, yeah, actually, I feel better about it. But all of her focus groups, 2-time Trump voters, 2-time Biden voter, or, you know, potential 2-time Biden voters, the people who voted Obama, then Trump, then Biden, and they're up in the air this time. You know, those people. Like, every single group says the same damn thing. Fucker needs to drop out. Like, this isn't working. Now, I don't want him to drop out because of his age. I want him to drop out because he has a lot of baggage regarding some foreign policy decisions that are really screwing up. I'll get to that in a second because there was another poll. And this poll came out and said that Vice President Kamala Harris is having a bit of a moment. Because these polls are showing that she has a better chance of beating Trump than Biden. Right now, Biden is underwater, right? He's got to gain ground and then exceed to win. And because the Electoral College is set up the way it is, that is an uphill climb. That's why if you were to place a bet on this, I believe there are places in Las Vegas that will take bets on the presidential thing. The odds are really against Biden right now. Like, everyone's betting Trump, and honestly, I think that's the smart bet right now. If you were to bet, I'm not putting money on it because God knows what's going to happen, but if you were to bet, if a gun were to my head and said, Kyle, put $20 on who's going to win the election, I'd say, probably Donald Trump. But when it comes to Kamala Harris, she's not beating him, but she's polling 50-50. And that's pretty damn good, actually. Now, I do understand that it's 50-50. Okay, consider this. Biden is Catholic, he's white, he's male, he's old. He's losing to Trump. He's losing to Trump because he's got a lot of baggage, too. He's been president for 4 years. Some of his policies haven't gone over that great. Whatever. Now you've got Kamala Harris. There is a serious misogynistic part of the United States. I think it would be naive to say that doesn't play a role. There's also a very large racist contingent here in the United States. Again, it would be naive to think that isn't the case. But she is a black woman with a funny name, and she's polling even with Donald Trump. So if the straight white male Catholic is losing to Trump, but the black woman is pulling neck and neck with him, that should tell you something right here. That should tell you that, like, actually, if she were able to lead at this moment, to be the nominee, and if she could pull off a good debate performance, which obviously she would be better than Biden, I think she could win this. I mean, it's no worse than anyone else, and a lot of people are saying, oh, Biden needs to drop out and everything else. I will point this out, again, kind of like you people on the left, the socialists who are hoping that everything collapses so that you can finally build your socialist utopia. Hey, I wish it too. That would be fantastic. However, the situation as it stands, you're not going to get your socialist Marxist utopia. It's just not going to happen. We're going to end up in a corporatocracy. Best case scenario, they're in a position to actually remake America in their image. So when you ask for Biden to step out, a lot of people are, sugar plums and everything dancing in their heads, going, "Oh, it's gonna be Newsom and Whitmer. They're gonna save us." And there are some people who think, Kamala Harris makes sense. She's the vice president, and she's not bad. Sure, go ahead. Go for her. But you have to keep in mind, right now we have Biden-Harris. We're very likely to end up with Harris and Fetterman. Okay, let's be honest about the situation that we're in and where the DNC is. Like, Gavin Newsom and Whitmer, sorry, I'm blanking on her first name. If they want to run for president, if they really do want to run, they've got to be thinking 2028. Really? Like, why would they jump in now? They have not been running for president so far. These are not failed campaigners from 2024 that stepped out. That's Dean Phillips. He's not coming back. Whitmer and Newsom know that, you, in most cases, only get one shot to be president. You run, you get nominated, and that's about it, hopefully, usually. Okay, Trump is the exception to this. That there are very few cases where somebody runs for president more than once and then it gets in. The Republicans kind of had this weird thing for a few cycles where the runner-up ends up being the next nominee. Trump broke that cycle, but it was a thing. So at least if you put in a strong showing during a primary, it could be a springboard the next time. That's not them. They did not have a strong showing in the primaries, but ultimately lost to Biden, so they bowed out gracefully, and they get to go home. Like, they would have to start an entirely new infrastructure and ground campaign and fundraising and everything. I don't think Newsom or Whitmer at this point want to be the party's nominee. I think they would. I think if we went into a brokered convention and they just ended up winning, like, they would run, they'd do the best they could, but it's not an ideal situation. They're not in a position to really step in. So I do think that even they would be like, yeah, let Harris run with the baton on this one. Let her go. So she's having a bit of a moment. And, good for her. Hopefully she can capitalize on this. I've been screaming for a long time. The Biden campaign needs to make her front and center. It can't be all about Biden. If it's all about Biden, we're heading for a loss. It has to be about, okay, who's on the bench? Who's backing him up? I think that would seriously help, because we know Trump is going to pick someone lunatic. He's going to be crazy in some way or another. Okay, you see Marco Rubio. Nobody considers Marco Rubio a good guy. He is somebody who's just there to lick Trump's asshole all day, every day. That's all he is. Same with Byron Donalds and a few others. Like they're all crazy in their own ways. Most of them are just sycophants and wannabes. Whatever. But Trump really doesn't need a VP. He just needs to be at the top of the ticket, and he'll run it. Here, the Democrats, they need to play a little 4D chess on this one. They need to have a strong backbench, and they need to have Harris out. Why isn't Harris out giving the one-on-one interviews? Neither Harris nor Biden were out on the Sunday shows. Why the fuck not? They command the media. There is so much power in the White House. Why isn't Harris leading the press corps during the daily news brief? Just going up there like, I'm the vice president, press secretary, fuck off for a bit. I got this for the next hour. And just going. Show everybody how great you are. And, I saw the suggestion that not only should Biden step aside for 2024, he should retire now, resign, and let Harris run as the incumbent. I think that's a horrible idea. One of the reasons I want Biden not to run is his baggage. If he were to resign, his baggage politically gets attached to Harris. So all the Gaza bullshit, all the genocide, everything going on in Ukraine, not only does it become her responsibility for the next 4 months, it also becomes her policy. She's now part of it. Running by herself, even though she is the vice president, most people understand the vice president is pretty weak sauce, right? I mean, Dick Cheney is about it, and he just went around to the agencies and told them what the fuck to do all the time. He did usurp Bush whenever it was necessary, but it was all behind the scenes kind of a deal. Harris really does not need the Gaza baggage and then also to run a campaign. I think she needs to be laser focused strictly on the campaign, sever her ties with the presidency 100% as far as workload. If you were going to have her go do a bunch of speeches on women's rights over here, no. If that's not good for the campaign, fuck right off. Like, her job is to be elected president, and everyone else can, go to hell. I don't need her making foreign policy for the next 4 months, right? I need her focused on the election. And that's kind of a problem you have here with Joe Biden. It's very possible and even likely that his 10-4 window where he's at his peak and kicking ass is being specifically reserved for matters of national security. It's very possible he's in the Oval Office talking with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the NSA director, all those people, like making sure everything's working as it should, as a president should do. And therefore, yeah, it's not like, between 10 and 4, he's fucking off and then he's just zonked by the end of the day. No, he's probably in meetings the entire time directing the course of this country and our foreign policy. That's what you want a president to do. And honestly, the staff should kind of front load your day. I'm that way after lunch. It's like everything between when I wake up and noon, I'm great. Everything after that, it's like I need a lot of coffee, man. It's just not. My brain works fantastic for 3 or 4 hours, and then I'm done for the day. I really am. I'm just like, I'm not here. Can I, work up some energy later in the day and have a second wind? Yeah, but it's not a guarantee. That's just me. That's how my brain works. That's why I do this, and I'm not a politician. Also, I hate the ass kissing. But you got these people who are, suggesting that somehow Biden has to do all these things. And I'm one of those. I'm like, look, if he wants to win the race, he's got to focus on winning the race. Unfortunately, I think he's focused on running the country. That is a good thing from a presidential standpoint. It's a bad thing from an election against a fascist standpoint. So, yeah, I think from day one, I've been like, Biden should just focus on running the country. And then just, hey, you know what? Everybody else worry about the election. I won the election. I'm here. Let's do it. There's an argument to be made that maybe what we should do is change how presidents, do run the country. Let's say it's a single term, 6 years. You win the presidency. You're in for 6 years. That's it. You do not run again because, quite frankly, the world is in such a place and America's position in it is in such a place that dividing your energy for a whole year and a half of your presidency to strictly electioning and doing both, like the presidency is hard enough. You want to add campaigning in that too? Like, that is a huge ask from anyone. We got lucky last time with Obama because he was still relatively young. But, I mean, go look at the before and after pictures. Go look at Senator Obama running in 2008 versus President Obama in 2016. Like, the man got old really fast. That's a normal youthful president. So, yeah, I do think, I think Biden should not resign. I don't think the 25th Amendment at this point is appropriate. I mean, if something happens to him, something happens to him. But otherwise, I think Harris should be allowed to run free, do her thing. Let her take over the campaign. There is something else to note. Because she is the vice president and because she has been on the ticket this entire time, she has the benefit of Biden's campaign would not have to be altered or changed. She wouldn't have to start a brand new campaign from scratch. She could just take what's already there, ground campaign and all, and run with it. She would even have access to the millions of dollars that Biden has already, been able to fundraise. That's a huge leg up for her. That's probably why if you did have an open primary, a condensed open primary right now, she would probably end up winning just because she has all that infrastructure around her. Finally, if you listen to the entire intro today, it was slightly new. I added something. And if you didn't hear that or missed it, because, it's the intro. You're not paying attention to that every day. Here you go.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
So that was the president of the Heritage Foundation, which wrote the Project 2025 thing, giving an interview where he's basically saying there is going to be an American Revolution, and whether or not there is violence depends entirely on the left. So, first off, I think King Biden should take his immunity out for a spin, declare this motherfucker an enemy combatant or a national security risk, and lock his ass up. I'm sorry. You don't get to call for violence on television. You don't get to stoke those flames the week of our, revolutionary anniversary kind of a deal, the signing of the Declaration of Independence. You don't get to do that. Fuck right off. And also, no one's clamoring for a revolution like that. Like, nobody wants that. However, there is a contingent, and it needs to be noted. Like, the left's behind on this. Don't get me wrong. Even if Trump wins and it's shady as hell, the left is not going to go all January 6th on the fucking country. We're just not. Sorry, we're not. That's not who we are. That's not where we are right now. We're going to wait until it gets really bad. Right, unfortunately, that's how it's going to be. And what would end up happening is, if this goes into effect, they're talking about camps, not just for illegal immigrants. They are openly talking about imprisoning anyone who opposes them politically. And there are lots of places where they would probably welcome death to Democrats, liberals, anyone who claims to be a socialist, Marxist, communist. And quite frankly, that's not a reason to kill any fucking buddy, but they don't care. And what I'm really worried about, is that they are going to add the religious aspect to it as well. Basically, if you are not a white Christian, and it's like obviously obvious that you are a white Christian, then they're going to come at you. And that would be me, because I am not a Christian. I am an atheist. Jesus had some great things to say. Nobody fucking listens to him at all. I was telling somebody just the other day, I was like, well, you have to understand, there are preachers in this country who actually do try to teach Jesus' teachings, and their congregants turn on them. What are you, some kind of Marxist? All that bullshit. So, this is going to be a thing. It is going to be race. It is going to be religion. It's, it's beautiful when you hand the keys of the military over to a religious movement. That has always worked well in every version that it's ever happened here on Earth with human beings. We're great at that. But that's exactly what is about to happen. And we need to take these people seriously. They are sitting there. I think you see all these people who talk about having a civil war, and they're pretty giddy about it, right? They're happy about it. Like, they can't fucking wait. Now, Personally, I think once that shit starts, they're going to change their tune very quickly. Not because their bloodlust has been sated, mind you, but the fact that it's never how you think it will be. I think a lot of these people have never read a firsthand account of any kind of war from any soldier on any battlefield. They have not really understood what war is. They certainly do not understand insurgency, right? The Iraq War, the occupation, same thing with Afghanistan, was on TV, and it hasn't been on the air in decades, really. America's longest war was barely on television. So these people, they have this romanticized version of what's going to happen. They're going to go out with their AK-47s and their AR-15s, and they're going to go kill some liberals. Why do they want to kill liberals? Because they actually believe we're the ones who want to kill them. No, I don't want to kill anyone. But that is not going to be enough. They're going to come after us because we don't want Bibles in schools. We don't want religion at all in schools. We certainly don't want one religion posted high above all the others, which is coming. I mean, there's a reason the Ten Commandments and the King James Bible are the ones in schools and not, say, for example, the Quran. So this thing is coming. I say we believe them. It is something to consider when voting this year. Once again, I have my problems with Biden. I will vote for him because I'm privileged enough. And honestly, here's something that I just fucking hate while we're on it. The Electoral College makes it so that my vote doesn't matter. I was in Washington State, where there's no way in hell a Republican's going to win. And now I'm in Alabama, where there is no fucking way a Democrat's going to win. My vote literally doesn't fucking matter. I can go out, vote for Joe Biden, and then watch my vote absolutely not fucking matter at all. The district I'm in, the Republican's going to win. The state I'm in, the Republican senator is going to win. It's going to be Republican down ballot no matter how the fuck I vote. And that is extremely infuriating to me. I also can't do shit about it, which is why I'm here doing this. So it really does suck that my vote doesn't count. If you are in a swing state, I would urge you to please think about this big picture, long term. It sucks that we're basically at the whim of what 6 individual states do right now, but that's the way it's set up. If you live in one of those states where it's like, holy shit, and you can tell real easy, just turn on your TV at prime time and a regular channel, don't put it on a cable channel, but just turn on your TV on a regular like half-hour sitcom or whatever and watch the commercials. And if you're being bombarded with both Trump and Biden commercials, pro for both, you're in a swing state because they are not spending any money in Alabama right now. Okay, if they are, it's marginal at best. It's like, well, you know, we had to run something there just to let them know we're thinking about them. They're not running anything down here. They didn't run anything in Washington, really. But if you look and you, all of a sudden you see presidential ads from both sides on there, you are in a swing state, and you need to vote accordingly. I wish that wasn't the case. If it was popular vote, this is in the bag for Biden. Like, there's no fucking way. Right? He got 7 million more votes than Trump did last time. And Hillary got 3 million more than him in 2016. Like, a Republican hasn't won the popular vote in 20 fucking years. Yet they keep dominating our politics, which is insane to me. I mean, seriously, if it was just the popular vote, none of the Republicans would have been elected. Bush never would have won over. Gore would have won. If it was just popular vote, we would have had Gore as president in 2000. There's an argument I've made that 9/11 does not happen under Gore. I'll get into that another day. If fast forward, like, obviously Obama wins both times. Hillary probably ends up being president. Trump can't get close. And because of that, the Republicans suddenly would no longer be incentivized to be fucking batshit crazy. They would have to come to the middle to try to siphon off some votes from the Democrats. Right now, that's just impossible. If you're a Democrat, I don't know why the fuck you would vote for a Republican. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. Anyway, You guys have a great 4th of July. Try not to blow anything up too much. Keep in mind pets and neighbors. If you have a neighbor with PTSD, maybe take your firework down the block. Like, seriously, pay attention to things like that. Learn who these people are, please. Learn your neighbor's name. Otherwise, enjoy a hot dog or a burger or whatever it is you're going to do. Don't let your kids blow anything up without, some kind of supervision. Don't drink too much today. Alcohol and fireworks are one of the worst combos in the world, yet there are going to be a lot of them. And of course, if you are driving for any reason, please watch out because people will be drinking early today. Also, lastly, it's fucking hot. Sunscreen, water, take breaks, go inside, go in the shade, take a break as much as possible. I know you want to have fun, but it's really, we're looking at heat stroke. We're looking at fires. Really, be very safe this one. This is not your normal 4th of July. It could be the last one we have for a while. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.